The last trading week ended with the shocking news that Donald Trump and Melania Trump had tested positive for the coronavirus. However, U.S. stock indices managed to close the week with gains. The new trading session kicked off with information about the early discharge of the U.S. president from the hospital. This news pushed the stocks to the all-time highs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed at 27,728 points, adding 1.78% over the week. Perhaps its rally would have been more significant if not for the weak U.S. jobs data. The figure indicated a much slower pace of the labor market's recovery than expected. The S&P 500 index, a market capitalization-weighted index of the 500 largest U.S. publicly traded companies, closed at 3,358, increasing by 1.48%. Traders were concerned by the news about Donald Trump's corona-positive test, so the stock market incurred losses due to uncertainty over the upcoming elections. However, the sell-off was halted by investors' optimism over the possible adoption of an additional stimulus package in Congress. The NASDAQ Composite Index advanced amid the news about the upcoming massive injections of liquidity into the market. However, the index closed the week at 11,275 points, or at the level where the trading session started. Speaking about people infected with the coronavirus, Amazon said that more than 19,000 of its U.S. frontline workers, or 1.44% of the total staff, tested positive for the coronavirus. This news spooked the bulls from the company's shares, and they fell by 2.4% to $3,138 per share. Companies in the tourism industry are suffering serious losses. Oil producers are also facing financial difficulties due to the weakening demand for oil. ExxonMobil shares are approaching an 18-month low. Amid the negative forecast for the company's earnings report for the third quarter, its securities were traded at $33. Yet this week the situation is changing and the company is recouping its losses. Market sentiment towards Tesla's shares is rather mixed. The company's third quarter delivery volume is growing. It even turned out to be higher than expected. However, investors are still refraining from buying shares, taking into account the low net profit from sales of the Model 3 sedans. Over the week, Tesla shares dropped by 3.4%. Last week, Nu Skin Enterprises were among the best performers in the stock market. Its shares surged by 9.4%. The retail company raised its guidance for 2020 after a significant increase in online shares. Zoom Video and Twilio Cloud Communications also managed to increase their net income amid the pandemic. You've watched the weekly financial review on Insta TV with me, Anna Kasatkina. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.